Welcome again, everybody, to our next episode of our Coach's Corner. You got Ryan and Rob here today. Today we're going to talk about the VBT, velocity-based trainers, specifically the Flex. We covered what velocity-based training is and the different types of tools that there are last week in our last one. And so this week we're going to show you one of the actual tools itself, and we'll include some snapshots of the different types of readouts you're going to be able to get from it. Rob, you've used the VBT a couple different times before, right?
Yeah.
You use the Flex. Is it pretty straightforward, simple to use?
Yeah, it's really easy to use. Literally just turn it on, put it on the bar, really. You have some syncing, I think, through the app.
Yep.
You do, but put the pad down and you're ready to rock.
All right. So what Robert's talking about is you got your little collar. Comes in this nifty, neat little box here. Pop it out. Looks just like a normal clamp, right? You push your power button, it starts lighting up, does a little bit of a UFO type lighting. Clamp it on the end of your bar, and that part is all set. Once it syncs up to your app, you also have a reflective pad as such. Goes underneath the bar itself against the side of whatever piece of equipment you're using. It works really good for bands, works really good for chains. It does not count your downward motion in part of the readout of your overall velocity. What the Flex can do is it can not only read your meters per second that you're moving, but it can also track your max velocity at like what point do you hit your max velocity, and track your bar path, which we all know is pretty important sometimes. It shows you as it goes up and down, it'll show it like a green, and then if you like yank it up to the side a little bit, it'll go red or orange depending upon how great of a curve it is. It can also record your videos with your actual speed on it. Something interesting is it actually can measure how far the bar travels. So if you are trying to make sure that you're hitting a specific depth and always hitting to that depth every single time, the Flex will actually measure how much travel you have from the moment it comes out of the rack until you stop your movement at the bottom.
I didn't know that one.
Yeah, it can do that for your deadlift and your bench as well. More specifically, it's good for your squat, but if you're deadlifting your bench, if you're trying to make sure you always got that perfect lockout and your feet are always in that perfect position, it's a little bit of data on your deadlift and your bench. It's not going to make that big of a difference, but for your squat, it could potentially have a good impact on it. One of the other things that can track is so it tracks your overall velocity. It can track all your different reps, so you know how many reps you've done. It tracks your sets, and it can be used for more than just squat, bench, or deadlift. It can be used for overhead. It can be used for a number of different exercises, and it is constantly being updated. However, the one thing that the Flex does not have going for it is that it does not always track your reps. It has
on the bar.
On the bar. It has to have a good surface contact with the bar itself. So you cannot use it on like the Titan axle or the Titan camber bar. And I don't believe we can use it on our giant camber bar either. But that's one of the very few drawbacks. The other drawback is the fact that they're still developing the software overall, so it does not always have the exact type of exercise you're trying to use. Like it has hex bar with bands, but it doesn't have sumo pulls with bands. For whatever reason, apparently the hex bar was more of a requirement than the straight bar sumo with bands. I think that pretty much covers the velocity-based training for the Flex specifically. We do not have the rep one, so we will not be able to show that. Between the two of them, I'm not sure yet which one is better. There's different aspects of both that are good and different aspects of both that are not as good.
I think when we get to rep one, we probably put out like a little comparison video and show the differences between them and what each would be good for.
We'll examine the different interfaces on the apps and how it compares to each other and kind of give you our personal feel. And since we all know I like to dumb it down a little bit, if I don't like it, then nobody else is probably going to like it either. I think that's all I got for this week. You got anything, Rob?
No.
All right. So as always, make sure you guys like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.